I think one of the failures of public Catholic masculinity is a failure of a loss of sort of gentlemanly polemicism, where men can debate with one another. I think that there's this effeminate thing we've talked about where like people get on YouTube and we have these hit pieces against this guy and against that guy, and everybody's going at each other, but it's just not at all a sort of a man-to-man conversation. It's like, let's have a beer and we can duke it out and we can like still be friends, even though you're a heretic and you're a modernist or whatever, you know, sort of this gentlemanliness. What is it about Chesterton that where he has this true polemicism? How can we recapture that?
First of all, I think it's because it's in writing. I mean, he died in 1936. So I don't know if there's any recordings of his voice. There might be somewhere. I don't know. It was sort of, obviously there was radio and things like that. And he was very well known in England. I don't know if there's any recordings of his voice, but it was all in writing. And that's really, really important. You know, Dr. Kwasniewski, he calls the modern Catholic podcaster who's always going after other people, he calls him a theologaster. You know, it's theology podcasting. He calls him a theologaster, emphasis on the gas because it's a lot of hot air. And video theology, the medium is the message, as Marshall McLuhan said, who actually was a Canadian and a devout Catholic, and he converted and died a faithful Catholic. I think he taught at University of Toronto. But anyway, the medium is the message in the sense that there are certain things you can do in certain formats that are adequate for that format or appropriate for it, and there's certain things that are not. You can definitely use YouTube and podcast for certain things really well. Of course you can. Monologues, teaching things, that sort of things. But debate on YouTube is, I hate it so much. It's like professional wrestling. There's no winner. It's not a real fight. At least in professional wrestling, there's a crowd. This is another thing too, is you're supposed to have an audience when you're debating. You know, debate in the true sense of a real debate needs to be in an audience. You want the audience to be a little bit raucous. The people who are debating must themselves be good orators. That's a big part of it too. And the audience must not expect to have every question answered throughout the debate because it's a time limit and so forth. So with Chesterton, what he's doing is he's doing this in writing. Now, he did a lot of in-person debates. They're just not recorded. But the thing about writing is also, this is long before the age of instant gratification. You know, like if someone wrote a book about something, and it was critical of whatever, people would be okay with waiting for 3 years for a response. And they wouldn't think like, why hasn't he responded yet? Is he afraid or whatever? It's like, no, he has to write a book.
He's backing down for the debate.
Yeah, he has to write a book, for goodness sake.